all might not be rosy in Red Bull's garage as they are still facing the brunt of their cost cap punishment. And due to these hiccups, the team's principal Christian Horner just revealed shocking details. So what has been going on? And what did Horner reveal? Let's start by taking a trip down memory lane to Red Bull's breach of budget cap in 2021. As a means of encouraging smaller teams and fostering more competitive championships, F1 in 2021 released a financial regulation budget cap. The purpose of this was to regulate spending limits that will level financing by enabling smaller teams with fewer resources to compete in an environment against teams with huge budgets. Unfortunately, Red Bull was found guilty of a minor overspend of the $145 million budget in 2021, but compared to what Mercedes was previously spending, up to $400 million per season, it was nothing. Maybe that was why Red Bull's breach was considered a minor overspend. This breach resulted in Red Bull receiving a $7 million fine, in addition to a 10% reduction to their wind tunnel time for this season. But despite this punishment, it is interesting to see Red Bull dominating this season. With the punishment the Red Bull team was facing, it was expected that they'd come into this 2023 season handicapped, but it was totally miscalculated because, by the time the punishment was enforced in 2022, they were already deep in the development of the 2023 car. The 10% reduction in their testing time didn't take effect till October 2022, and at that point, a lot of development had already been done for their 2023 car. The Hungary race was Red Bull's 12th victory in a row, giving them the record for the most consecutive race wins in F1 history. And it's proof that the Red Bull team is doing a great job this season, despite the hiccups and constraint that comes in the form of the punishment for their breach. Not to fall into the same ditch twice, the team has also managed to amazingly nail the regulations so far this season. The team arrived in Hungary with a major and final upgrade for the RB19. The sideboards of the car had visibly changed. While this may seem as a not so significant change when looking at the car proved different during the race. Amidst these victories, there is the unfortunate possibility that the punishment would take a toll after all, and the team will most likely take a different turn from their track record it has set so far this season. But before delving into the supposed ill luck the team may run into, let's talk about the incredible achievement of winning 12 races in a row, and also the man that is Max Verstappen. The combination of Red Bull and Verstappen is proven to be an incredible and powerful one this season, and so far in the history of F1. Red Bull has been assertive this 2023 season, with Red Bull's RB19 car and Max Verstappen currently topping the chart in the Drivers' Championship. Among other competitors and also his teammate Perez, Red Bull is currently over 100 points against his competitor, Mercedes. We cannot deny the remarkable season Red Bull's amassed so far. We need to also pinpoint the speculations tied around their victories. Could it be that the victories of the team are a result of motivation gotten from their punishment? Or maybe the team had already been at the top of the development and insight of the initial design stage, hence translating into a fine development and a positive result? There will always be questions by the audience or even fellow competitors as to how much Red Bull may have benefited from the budget cap they breached in 2021 when last year's car was being designed, and also if the punishment they're facing is suitable for the minor offence. Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes F1 team driver, feels that the punishment is not fair enough and says, "I mean, there wasn't really a big punishment last time, so there's no real deterrent. There will be people that will probably go for it again and know they're just going to get a slap on the wrist." Is this a fair statement, or is Hamilton being a sour competitor towards Verstappen and Red Bull's victory? The answer lies in what we're about to discuss. Part of the punishment Red Bull incurred due to the breach is a reduction in their testing percentage. This punishment means that the updates they can make to their car are limited. This makes the team vulnerable to the end of the season. The lack of wind tunnel time is significant, and therefore, Red Bull has to be more systemic and disciplined on what they focus their changes and development on. Due to the limited wind tunnel time, the Red Bull car will not get very much faster anymore. Red Bull currently has the least wind tunnel time and CFD freedom of any team, and also a 10% reduction in aerodynamics testing in place till October. This means that despite their victories so far this season, their competitors such as McLaren and Mercedes still stand a significant advantage this year. Does this mean Red Bull's numbers will amass to nothing? Well, we shall pay attention this season critically. At the Hungary race, Christian Horner and Red Bull's F1 team principal had this to say about the aerodynamics restriction imposed on the team due to their breach. The upgrade did what they said on the tin, so from that point of view, it's a box ticked. Now, with the handicap that we have, we have to really swing our focus over to next year because we have a significant deficit in wind tunnel time compared to our competitors, and we have to be very selective in how we use it. We have a few circuit-specific things still to come in 2023, but nothing that hasn't been done already or committed to in research and development. He continued by saying, we have that penalty until October this year, so particularly in terms of the amount of runs you can do per week, we are significantly down compared to 2nd, 3rd place, and massively down compared to teams in 4th and 5th. So if you compare what McLaren can do in the wind tunnel compared to ourselves, it is a huge difference. Of course, we have to be very selective in the runs that we are doing, and that is where the engineering team back in Milton Keynes are doing an incredible job, the way they are effectively and efficiently developing the car. With these statements, it will be safe to infer that Red Bull has shifted its focus from winning this season and is already making preparations for next year's season in line with when the punishment will be lifted, which is October this year. It could also mean that the team is playing it safe amongst competitors. Whatever it is, time will tell. Is it a smart move to focus on 2024 rather than challenging all odds to win this season? We await how the rest of the season's F1 will continue to unfold. Another incredible question will be to ask is how the outcome of this season will affect Verstappen, who has been on the top of his game since 2021. Max Verstappen described his victory in Hungary as a pretty perfect day, and this could be a perfect season for his Red Bull team and his personal achievements. His victory in Hungary results in a record being broken, which is a 12 in a row victory against 11 victories in a row of McLaren in 1988, where McLaren put up two of the greatest drivers in the world, Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, in the McLaren MP4/4 with a Honda engine. It is important to note that Verstappen and the Red Bull team do not need the help of a second driver close to his caliber to smash a historic record. His teammate Perez has managed to switch in a couple of victories in the first 4 races of the year, while Verstappen is on 7 victories. When it comes to F1, both the car and the man driving have to give everything to get a perfect outcome. Red Bull may have found both this season. Maybe this is the ticket they need for this season's championship sweep. The Red Bull RB19 will go down as one of the great cars in the history of F1, and it will make a case to be considered the greatest ever if it gets Red Bull this season's championship against all odds facing them. Mercedes team principal sees the Red Bull RB19 as a Formula 2 car against the Formula 1. With this insight from a competitor, are the upgrades really needed for Red Bull to win? Is it possible for Red Bull's RB19, Max Verstappen, Red Bull team and their engineers are able to maintain these victories, irrespective of their wind tunnel time punishment? Or will their competitors take over? It also seems to look like the new regulations are working pretty fine, and F1 is becoming more competitive, and then in years to come, smaller teams will find their way into the limelight, hopefully. There is a lot of tension surrounding how this season will unfold for Red Bull, and the whole of F1 team in general. We are all keeping our arms crossed while we speculate the possible outcomes of the season. It seems like there is a lot at stake for the current record holder and his team. Maybe the outcome of this season will serve as a warning to other teams, or maybe it will gear them towards breaching the cap too. Well, we hope not. What are your thoughts and opinions on this season's race? Are you invested and interested to see how this unfolds? Kindly let us know in the comment section. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.